It's really different. It's A and speech. A and E. Oh yeah. And somewhere in the middle, the story starts.
Yeah, the horse dealer's daughter with the Save the Rainforest thingy.
Who's got it? Fingers?
Hi.
I'll see if I've got a few left in my vegetable box. Fijn dat je hem komt halen.
Okay.
Oh, you see for now?
Great.
So anybody who needs a copy still? Somewhere in the back.
We'll keep it.
Oh, thank you very much.
Can we start?
Yes, we can start. No, I don't need you back. Keep it, please.
Okay, well first I'm going to tell something about the author. His name is D.H. Lawrence and it stands for David Herbert Richard Lawrence. That's a long name. He was born September the 11th in 1885 in Eastwood, Nottinghamshire. And he died in France the 2nd of March in 1930 and he died of tuberculosis. He's an English author. He also wrote poets, essays, and he was a literary critic. And his books and poets were mainly about two major themes. The first one was about the effects of modernity and industrialization on people. And the other thing was that he wrote about issues related to emotional health and vitality, human sexuality and instincts. Well, his work was very rough. He wrote very direct about things. He didn't put it in a nice sentence, he just said it. So that was partly because of his background. His father worked in a mine and was also a very rough man. And his mother was a school teacher, and his mother and father, well, it wasn't a happy marriage. There was a lot of tension between it, and he processed that by writing about it. So that's why all his work it's not really cute, or something like that. Therefore, his work wasn't appreciated at first. He was described as a pornographer who has wasted his considerable talents, which isn't really a compliment. But after he died, people began reading it again and they saw that there was more to it than just rough things. And then he was described as the greatest imaginative novelist of our generation. So he was appreciated, but long after he had died. So it's not really a nice life you have. And now Astrid is going to tell something about the story.
Okay, now it is quite a long story, for a short story, so we're not going to read it at all. I'm going to tell you where it's about. I'll make a start with that. It's about three brothers and one sister, and they had a father. He was a horse dealer. And he died, but he left his children with debt, and now they had to leave their house because they couldn't stay there. And the brothers, they all could find a living, and they could make money for themselves. But Mabel, it was written in 1922, so yes. It was a long time ago. And she didn't know where to go, and she could go to one of her sisters, other, well, it wasn't niece, it was her niece, yes. But she didn't feel much like it. So, and her brothers, they didn't really appreciate her. And yeah, she felt really alone. And well, and her mother also died. Long before that. We don't know when, but she always visits her mother. And there she cuts the grass around the grave. And are we going to read a piece?
Yes, we're going to read a small piece and then we have an assignment for you.
Yes.
For you. We're going to keep it short because
we don't have page numbers, so
that's hard.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 8th page.
What's the first line?
No company.
Yeah, that's on top of the page and we have to be at the bottom of the page and It gave her sincere satisfaction.
Stephanie, would you like to read?
It gave her sincere satisfaction to do this. She felt in immediate contact with the other world, with the world of her mother. She took minute pains, went through the park in a state bordering on pure happiness, as if in performing this task she came into a subtle, intimate connection with her mother. For the life she followed here in the world was far less real than the world of death she inherited from her mother.
Yeah, you can stop there. You can notice it's a very old style of writing. Well, in this part, she is at her mother's grave, and she feels some kind of connection with her mother. You can the inheritance from her mother. Well, no, she really wants to be with her mother, so there is performing this task, it says, but does any one of you know what this task might be, if you read this little part? You have to think about she really wants to be with her mother. No.
What does she have to do to be with her mother?
Take care of the grave?
No.
Suicide.
Yes,
Yes.
that's what it's about. She wants to kill herself.
That's what we mean with he wasn't a subtle writer. He just said what the problem was. He's not very subtle.
So, okay. In the story, so she wants to commit suicide. So she goes to a pond and she wants to drown herself. And while she's doing that, a young doctor, Dr. Ferguson, comes by, and he sees the girl, and yeah, he's a doctor, so he wants to save lives. So he also jumps into the pond, and although he can't swim, but he still managed to save her. And he knows the girl because he is a friend of one of Mabel's brothers. And he takes her home to her house, and she undresses her and puts a blanket around her and puts her next to a fireplace so she can warm up. And all this time she was unconscious, but when she woke up, well, she noticed she was naked. So she thought, why am I naked? Did you do that? So now we're going to the next part. Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. And do you love me then?